Well, personally, I think the Gen 3 is the most useful and comfortable cold weather system that the Army has ever issued me in the 23 years of service. I started out the Army in Fort Drum, New York, back in '86. And the cold weather gear they gave us at Fort Drum, New York then, and the cold weather gear that you get at Fort Drum, New York now is a world of difference. The plus about the 7-layer system is that it allows you and your soldiers to be able to react to a wide range of temperatures and the climate, actually, whether it's wet or dry. And it really makes a big difference, especially at Fort Drum, of course. I was just recently there for another 2 years, 15 months of that in Iraq. And the training at Drum and the training in Kuwait, and then when we got to Iraq, it makes a big difference. You're able to adjust easily. Another big plus to the system is a lot of it can be worn as outer garments. So it allows you to wear the garment and then be able to take it off without losing any activity level. Vice taking a uniform off to take an undershirt off to put it back on. And with it having the lightweight, being able to combine the lightweight undershirt with, say, the fleece jacket, it allows you to stay warm, and as your activity level's up and the soldiers start to get warm, they can take the fleece jacket off and drive on. So it allows the soldiers to react to a wide range of climate and temperatures. We used it at Fort Drum, New York, and again in Iraq. At Fort Drum, New York, the extreme cold weather parka was very popular item, very popular. Everything from the road guards to range guards, any static position, very popular item. Not only did soldiers like to wear it, but it kept them warm as well, so it was a big plus. And then we also used it in Iraq as well. The fleece jackets were very popular in garrison in Fort Drum as it was cold. In Iraq, this last time I was up north, and up north it does get cold in Iraq and also snows. One particular time I remember that we used Gen 3, we were on an LZ in a secured Iraq compound, and it was cold. We were there a couple hours prior to EM&T, and in order to keep the soldiers warm, we allowed them to wear the extreme cold weather parka. Obviously, you wouldn't want to wear that on the helicopter or when you hit the ground running. So what we did was we had a couple of vehicles there. We allowed them to wear the extreme cold weather parka on the LZ to keep them warm until the birds were inbound. Once the birds were inbound, took the extreme cold weather parkas off, put them all together inside the truck, did the air assault mission, 20-minute ride on the helicopter, accomplished the mission. After the mission was done, we were able to get everybody's gear back to them for the simple fact that the extreme cold weather parka has your name and your rank on it, unlike other jackets in the past. So it was real easy to give the owner his jacket back. And I think it gave us an advantage, if nothing else, for the morale of the soldiers, because they didn't sit out there and freeze before we kicked off the mission. We sat on LZ for 2.5 hours, and they were able to stay warm for that 2.5 hours, amazingly enough, because it does get that cold in Iraq, northern Iraq in the wintertime. And at Fort Drum, New York, the road guards in the mornings, you know, we put out PT road guards in the mornings during PT, so that's an hour and a half. And soldiers always wear their extreme cold weather gear for that in the wintertime in Fort Drum. And also ranges. A range will go 4, 5, 6 hours. And the good thing about it, the 7 layers, is it allows them, if it's a dry cold, obviously in Iraq it was a dry cold, there was no wet, so the extreme cold weather parka was good to go. At Fort Drum, on the other hand, when it's snowing in the wintertime, you run into the wet cold. And so that's another good thing about the 7-layer system, is it allows you to adjust wet or dry cold, which makes a big difference. And honestly, soldiers like to wear stuff that is comfortable and they think looks, in their words, cool, but professional. And the fact that a lot of the gear in the past you weren't able to wear as an outerwear, the extreme cool weather parka and the outer jacket, both to soldiers look cool. You know, the wind jacket's very popular in the wintertime when the wind's blowing, but it's not a wet coat, it's a dry coat.